Welcome back to MCOC Albundyrules. Got a nice item-free all-solo walkthrough of Chapter 1, which would be 1.1 and 1.2 of the new Variant 6 that just dropped out today. Looking at the notes, clearly villains have huge advantage. Looks like a bad idea to bring any non-villains. So I got myself a team of 5 going straight villains, looking at the path. And I'm seeing on the first fight with this Hyperion that I am taking, Doom should be a good fit. There is some strong resistance on this path, as we saw when I looked up at the nodes. So I'll be patient as I go through. We see all those energy resist and physical resist coming on up, which we're at 90%. So I'm just going to do some regular Doom style. Eventually I'll wear them down once I get some Furies going. So doing regular Doom combat at this point. So I brought Doom mainly only for this fight. Most of the rest, I'm expecting my Venom the Duck to pretty much dominate. I think that the way, at least what I've looked at Chapter 1 so far for Variant, it has Venom the Duck's name written all over it. I think he is just going to cheese through quite a lot of Variant 6, but only time will tell. But there are some fights I want to have better counters for. This fight, Hyperion definitely being one of them, mainly because I'm going to need myself some decent power control, obviously, for a Hyperion fight. So now we got going on in there. Still never figured out why Doom would teleport somebody to his house just to destroy his house or castle or whatever. Hope he has some good castle insurance, right? Anyway, it just seems rather illogical to me, but then again, trying to make logic of a comic-based fighting game, yeah, maybe that's my own fault. So, I see melted Hyperion down after it got some of the stuff going, so even with the high resistance, Doom were pretty good for that fight. Fight started out slow, but went well, so as long as I get him down at almost full health, I'm a happy person. So now, looking at these nodes again, and I'm thinking Venom the Duck should be good. So first fight with Venom the Duck's always going to be the slowest. I have several Venom the Duck videos. If you're not familiar, please watch them. Specifically, the 4-minute tutorial really shows how to do things. Some of my other ones highlight how amazing he is when used correctly. He's a love him or hate him type of champ, but most people who hate him don't know how to use him correctly or are just super impatient. Those who say he is RNG dependent are not using him correctly. I pick what buffs he banks. I pick. Sure, I have to wait for the buffs I want to come on about, but bottom line, what a 17% chance each time after a few times. The ones I want are eventually going to come. I just have to be patient. So that is what I'm being going on in this fight. I'm using, when I'm trying to get my BTD going, I'll use more S1s than I normally would. S1s are not very good for damage, but they help speed up the whole buff banking process. So now I got regeneration, which I want to keep sustainability. Usually I'll try to have 2 or 3 regenerations going to make sure if I plan on using them to clear a path. And so I got my first one. After I get my first one, I can just double them up if I so choose, and when I so choose on additional later fights. Again, I explain how to use him on my tutorial. So now I have 2 buffs. I can bank up to 1 more of this fight, so I'm still kind of stalling through, trying to wait for another buff that I want. I do not want the armor up buff here. Sometimes it can be beneficial to bank that, but in this specific circumstance, most of the time I'll avoid that one. Some exceptions. And I see precision, that's another one I'm happy to bank. So I got the 3 that I wanted, well, at least 3. There's really 4 that I'm happy to get. I got 3 of the 4 I wanted. Only 2 I usually avoid is the armor up and the perfect block. And so I got 3. I like to get them all unique on my first time through, my first fight. That way I can double them up if I want to. And so now I'll finish that fight off. So I got the hardest part about using Venom the Duck, which is not hard at all, is getting that first fight with some buffs that I am happy with. After that, I can just keep doubling if I want to. I can do a variety of things, at least based on priority, which would be regeneration, furies. But now Now I got the first fight out of the way. He's going to be pretty simple. I do not want to bank right now. If I had got a Fury in that first fight, I probably would have just doubled them up with a Heavy or an S1 here, but I did not, and I really would like a Fury. So what I'm going to, before I start doubling, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and do some damage, and boom, there's the Fury I wanted. So now I'm going to make sure I bank this. And now I'm pretty good. So as far as priority buffs, the way they double up, Regeneration and Fury are at the top of the list. So now I'm good with my main buffs that I have set. I have all four of the ones, one of each of all four of the ones I wanted. And now I just got a second precision going on. So I've got a pretty solid Venom the Duck now, halfway into my second fight. Meaning my next fight's coming up should be pretty dang smooth sailing. I already know that I'm most likely going to just do a double up coming up on my next fight, which is why I did not bank that regeneration there. Otherwise, I would have too many regeneration after I double up next fight. Kind of think a little bit ahead on it. Once you're used to Venom the Duck, he is ridiculously insane, which we are going to see in this video because I plan on just sitting back and let Venom the Duck just own Varian. His chance to shine, so give him some fun. And as anyone who watches my channel from time to time knows, any chance I get to let Venom the Duck shine, I love to take full advantage. So I do enjoy my Venom the Duck. So now it's just a matter of working out a little sloppy there, but another thing I like about Venom the Duck, he is forgiving. If you make a silly mistake like that, it is most of the time a mute point, doesn't matter. Because I'll just get the health back. Now it's quick and easy. So now, I got my 6 buffs up. After 2 fights, I'm very happy with my buffs. Again, if you're not happy with your buffs, I think it's RNG, it's your fault for banking ones you don't like. Be more patient, be more patient. So now, going to go into the Wolverine fight, and although Sentinel is a good match for that, I'd rather finish getting my Venom the Duck higher. So I see where my buffs are. We see them up top, so I am going to double those up because that's going to give me some more regeneration and Fury primarily. So no, I am at 9, so next fight I'll be able to bank 1 more and he'll be done. But at 9 buff Venom the Duck is a pretty strong thing to deal with. So I'm just going to smack Wolverine around a little bit. Of course, the big key to Venom the Duck, one is properly managing his buffs. The second one is this S2. Get the toxic armor going on. Some bleeds going. And we see Wolverine starting to melt rather nicely. And that should wrap that one up. So far, all the fights on this path of 1.1 of Variant 6 have been rather effortless. First fight on this path, I used the Doom. While everything else so far, I've been using the Venom the Duck. So now Ronin. So let's go ahead and see what a 9 buff starting Venom the Duck can do here. We see all those buffs up there. We see I'm already almost back at full health despite that minor mistake last fight. And now, oh, that will bank another regeneration for me at that point as I launch that S2. And I already see Ronin's almost done already. It feels like this fight just started and it's already about to finish. And that's what a Venom the Duck can do. Takes a little bit to get there, but once you're there, it's sweet, sweet, sweet. However, this would not be a good fight for Venom the Duck, just like I brought Doom for just solely the Hyperion fight. I brought Void solely for this fight. I did not bring Human Torch because of some of the because Human Torch is not a villain, and bringing non-villains for this variant 6, from what I'm looking at the notes, looks like a really bad idea. I'm sure there's going to be a couple exceptions, but Void is a very good supplement for Human Torch to begin with, and if he gets the villain advantage, I would be silly not to take advantage of that. So, use Void the way you use them. I'm going to get those items up, get the Fear of the Void going. I'm not worried about the incineration, as Void is incinerate immune. Big reason I brought him specifically for this fight, so I would not have to deal with worrying about his incineration. And got Fear of the Void, that's what I'm going there for. So now, fight should be just on the verge of being over at this stage, to where it gets even more simpler than it's already been, as I already got a near full health Void, and I got Mephisto on the ropes. So let's go ahead and get some good S2 fun going on, some Dark Sting. And as we see, this fight is about wrapping on up. Alright, another easy fight. We saw that path is now over. The path was pretty effortless. Look at the health on my team. Got almost an entirely full health team. I think the only one with any health missing is my Void is missing with like 5% or something silly low. So looking at these right here, again, as long as I got a villain, I've got to be careful not to hit into the block. Look at the long distance relationship, the weakness right there. Pretty simple. We've got to be careful about those durations. Nothing overly too over the top here. As long as you got a villain, should be good. A villain takes away some of the disadvantages of some of the other nodes. So I got a fully ranked up BTD. I completely forgot there about Rhino's Unstoppable. That was sometimes you get used to intercepting occasionally and forget. Don't try to intercept on a Rhino. Usually not a good idea. So a little brain fart there, but I already re-healed that health from that silly mistake. And we already see I've got Rhino hurting pretty bad. Fight just started, and I've already got him close to half health. So we saw Venom the Duck completely cheese through all but 2 fights of 1.1. Did the entire path minus 2 fights and is completely destroying this boss right here. And doing another S2 with that toxic armor should put me in a really good position to wrap this fight about up. Just really got to beat that S2 now, and then I should be able to finish Rhino off soon thereafter. Keep in mind, next up is 1.2, so I got all of Chapter 1 for Variant 6 on this video. I will have Chapter 2 and 3 additionally, but they're going to be on separate videos. I will have a total of 3 videos for all of Variant, 1 chapter per video, each with 2 parts. So this is 1.1 and 1.2. So we saw 1.1 item free, all solos, pretty much all full health for the most part, finishing up that 1.1. Super easy. We saw what worked. Venom the Duck, clear MVP there. So now it's time to go into 1.2 so we can wrap up all of Chapter 1 on this new Variant 6. Looking at the path, I see armor up buff. So I mentioned I rarely use armor up buffs on Venom the Duck. This is a time where I am going to try and get one, because it's going to help me with power control. That note I see up there is going to turn Venom the Duck into actually a power control champ, which is a pretty rare thing there. So I will definitely be sure to exploit that. This will be one of the few to rare times you ever see me purposely try to bank an armor up. So working on this Captain Marvel movie now. Again, I kind of take my time on this. I have no issue with using S1s in early fights. In later fights, you'll not see me use S1s. I use S1s to kind of stall out the health pool, make sure I get 3 good buffs that I want on my first fight while speeding up the abbreviation process. I was going to bank that first armor up buff, but was a little slow and was debating with myself if I wanted to yet or not. But I decided because it's going to slow me down on my double up option because I don't want to double up on a armor up buff, but I went ahead and did this because now when I activate that, you're going to see some nice power control, which is going to be automatically activated at the start of every fight. Captain Marvel S1 is a lot easier to evade, at least for me, so you'll see me try and bait her S1 as much as humanly possible. I'll usually try to avoid pushing her to S2 when I can. If I need to, I will, but S1's pretty simple. Most of the time, we did see me get clipped on part of it on a little mistake. But hasn't mattered, as my Venom the Duck is at 99%. This fight is 2/3 of the way over. Get that toxic armor going on. I see a Fury right there, so I'll jump on the Fury very happily. Beginning of the fights, I always try to get a regeneration of Fury in the first fight. At least I usually try. As long as I get one of them, I'm happy. I try to get both. For the other spot, I'm pretty flexible on. So I'm happy with what I got here. Normally I would go into banking my second fight, just doubling them up, but I'm probably going to avoid that based on my armor up buff. I don't want to double up. And Seminite Supreme would be a horrible matchup for Venom the Duck with his buffs. It's like pretty much a suicide fight for him, so just like I brought Void specifically for one fight in the last path, Mephisto, I brought him for Seminite Supreme. A lot of times I might use a torch on this fight, but since he is not a villain tag, would not be a good fit for what I've seen thus far in Variant 6. So, use the Void. Worked really good for the fight I brought him in 1.1. I'm assuming he's going to work well for the one fight I'm bringing him here in 1.2. Going to use the same basic strategy I used when I used Void in the one fight at 1.1. Let's just do what Void does. Be patient. Build up the debuffs. And let nature take its course as I get that Fear of the Void going. Which at this point the fight's pretty much as good as done. Was about to launch a power sting there, or the sting, but wasn't even needed on the S2. So now, let's get back to my Venom the Duck. Let's build him up a little bit more against this Dr. Octopus. So we saw VTD completely dominate 1.1, and I'm looking at him completely dominate at 1.2. In fact, I haven't looked at the nodes for the other chapters yet in Variant 6, but I'm assuming he's going to dominate a lot of Variant 6, but of course it could depend on the nodes. I will use the best champ for the job to get the job done, so if he's not the best fit, I'll use who is. I avoided doubling up at the beginning of this fight because I did not want to double up on the armor up debuffs. And now I see a Fury. I'll bank that. So I can bank one more this fight if I see one that's a good fit. Although the fight's getting close to over, so we'll see what comes on up. I don't like to force stuff. Patience is key here with Venom the Duck. So, I only banked 2 buffs that fight, nothing wrong with that. Next up is Yellow the Jacket. I got Yellow Jacket, who is being said to be getting a nice moderate buff coming up. I'm looking forward to that in February, I believe. Very much looking forward. Already got an R4 Yellow Jacket, so I can't wait for that buff. Alright, so now I'm going to kind of smack. When you see that power burn going on, that is why I banked that armor up. Debuff at the beginning, based on these nodes. It gives me automatic power control at the beginning of the fight until it expires, and it also gives me at any time I decide to use the S3. I'm not really even using S3 much with him yet because it hasn't been needed. The fights have been over pretty quick. My first couple fights when I'm building up into the deck, I want to go slow so I can get the buffs I want. After that, they go quick, so there's really little need to do an S3 unless it's higher health pool champs. Or if I'm just low on health, I need to rebuild my regeneration. A Yellow Jacket, that was super quick fight. Keep in mind, these are pretty good health pool champs, so a fight that quick gives you an idea what Venom the Duck is doing right now. Notice I got my nice, beautiful R3 Magneto, who many of you see I love using, and he is a villain. Should be perfect for this too, but I'm having too much fun with Venom the Duck. I haven't even got Magneto off the bench yet. So made some silly mistake. I got evaded by Moon Knight, and I just got punished. I lost half my health from a major slip up, but I don't sweat it with Venom the Duck because I know I got my regeneration, so I can get my health back rather simply. And another mistake, so forgiving champ. So even when he do a little bit of sloppiness as this, completely forgot about Moon Knight's evades, and he is being very evasive this fight. Because he's one of those champs, a lot of times won't evade, but sometimes on moon things or whatever, he won't stop evading. So now he's making me a little nervous, so I'm lowering my combo count, trying to maximize on the stun so I don't make any more regretful mistakes like I did at the beginning of the fight. So slowing down a little bit, being a little more careful. Usually when I got Venom the Duck built up, I just go for the kill, slowing it down a little bit. And there we go. And at the start of this fight, I'll be able to recover that health I lost. And I want to make sure I have a decent health pool going in because I plan on bringing Venom the Duck into the boss fight. So got that where I got 4. I went ahead and banked the last fight. Figured it'd give me some extra health after some of those mistakes. And you see how quick that health is going up. Look at how forgiving Venom the Duck is. Keep in mind, I was at 50% just a little bit ago. Now I'm already at 88%. Gotta love it. And wow, that fight's already over. If you blinked, you might have missed it. So now let's go to the boss fight. As we saw, VTD completely MVP dominate 1.1, and we're seeing the exact same thing in 1.2 variant 6. Looking at these nodes, again, want a villain. Armor up buff has been helping me on the power control. Armor break, unblockable finale. I got to be careful. I'm going to try to build up it when I get close to 25%. I just want to wipe out that 25% quick and can get some advantage on intercept, but I'll let that go natural. I'm not going to force intercepts. I'll let them be natural. No need to force stuff right now. I got a built up Venom the Duck who's been dominating variant, and we see the health just melting off Winter Soldier like nothing. I mean, this is just embarrassing for him as a boss. And so already less than half health, and continuing to move forward on that. And we see the unblockable stage, but I built it up quick enough and was ready to try to make sure I got the last quarter off quick. And that's it. VTD obviously MVP for all of Chapter 1.1 and 1.2. And nice and easy. Follow the strategies I did, follow the paths I did. You should get through this rather fine. And nice, easy, easiest 1,000 6-star shards ever. Hope this was helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Be sure to watch Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 as well.